There's no half-assing anything at Disney, dude. I mean, I had a moment with Chewbacca.
Yeah.
If you had to ride out a hurricane, we were in the best place for it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so amazing.
Oh, man.
So amazing.
Are you just drinking tea? I'm gonna have a beer and hear about.
Oh no, this is scotch, buddy.
Oh. All right.
My 10-year-old single malt Lafrogue.
Nice.
I saved this for special occasions.
Oh, and this is that. This is talking about the trip of all trips, and our second only LWSD double shot.
Double shot. Yeah, no, totally. So,
I'm gonna crack my beer.
Here, I got a
toasters.
PBR. We'll do this on 3.
Great.
And 3.
Woohoo.
So Ash was like, "Don't forget, beer before liquor." And I was like, "Well, I'll just have to drink them at the same time then."
That is a double shot indeed.
Yep. So.
And number 30 there, I posted the other day, has you. I was able to grab a little screenshot that's not in the video of you when you got caught with both beers.
Oh man, I love it. It looks like the Avengers, but like us. That picture of with like all of us sliced together. It looks like you know the first time the Avengers like was coming to the theater and they had that vinyl, like the big vinyl.
Oh
hang.
yeah, where they each kind of got their own sliver.
Yeah, little sliver of it, and that's what it looks like to me. Which just, there's no hyperbole. Where I was like, this is one of my favorite images ever. It's just so good. Wow. So
it was fun. I had fun putting it together, and I actually made that the still for the audio version of the podcast online.
Awesome.
Because I thought that'd be more enticing than our regular.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to waste any time. I want to hear. I was receiving these. Was on that shared whatever that is that Apple allows, and I got to like see the trip. But I want to hear all the anecdotes that accompany those images.
Yeah. No, that's fine. So, well, I'll just bring up the share folder. So, we did this last year too when we did our big road trip vacation. Where Apple does that like cloud sharing, and it really sucks that you can't do it with Android phones. Like, I wish you could just. I guess you could do it in Google Drive, and then you would just like share a URL. I thought of doing that, but it's kind of the same thing. It's just in the cloud, but every day we just load all the pictures that we took while we're on vacation, and then anybody that shared with that gets to see us on vacation, which in more ways than one, it really ended up being very convenient and helpful having that access to that. But I'll just bring up the shared folder, and then I guess you want to just do a walkthrough, and we'll just
any way
you have access to that folder too.
Obviously, we could post these images to the Twitter and stuff, or maybe why don't you use them to jog your memory, and then I'll be kind of the proxy for the listener, so that we don't just be like, oh, look at that, and we're both looking at something that no one can see.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you want to, you can scroll through here too in case I skip over something. Like, since you have access to the same folder.
Oh, sure, yeah, I'll bring it up.
You could go to so that way you're just kind of like pacing along with me, and if I skip over something that you would definitely want to ask about, we can go back, of course. Right. And then we don't have to post all of these to the Twitter. We'll just any ones we specifically talk about, I guess we could throw up there without a problem.
Yeah.
But, so the plan was we were going to be gone Saturday to Saturday. Saturday, September the 2nd. Let me look at my calendar. Saturday, September the 2nd to Saturday, September the 9th. And it was going to be a nice vacation. We ended up I took Friday the 1st off, and then also Monday the 11th off. So kind of bookend the whole thing with an extra day off, which was really nice just to like recover. And so we start like this. The shared folder starts on the Saturday before we leave for the airport. And so when Ash and I first started, the first year we started dating, I was the first year that I went to Disney. It was for that conference that we talked about with Stan the Man and Double D, right? And, I came back from that and I was like, there's real magic down there and we have to go back there and all this stuff. Well, while I was down there, I had purchased a matching set, like a Mickey and Minnie coffee mugs. And then I know we've talked about buddy time before. Oh, yeah. Right? And so, like, that's how I introduced the concept of buddy time to Ash, was with these mugs.
Really?
Where I was like, yeah.
Like,
so I was
years
like,
ago or recently?
Oh, yeah. Like, no, all the way back in 2013. Like, when I bought these mugs down while I was in Disney and brought them back and was like, so there's this, this thing that I learned from some friends called buddy time, where it's just like protected time that we have on a Saturday morning where it's just us and we can drink, over coffee and a piece of cake. And it really became a kind of ritual for us. And so, and also kickstarted this collection of coffee mugs that we have. And it started with this Mickey and Minnie. Well, a while ago, the Minnie one broke. Like, we dropped it and it put a big crack in it and a big chip out of it. And it's been sitting on top of the microwave since then. Well, I found one on eBay and ordered it. And so the Saturday before we left for Disney, I had like the new coffee mug, like the replacement coffee mug with the Mickey one. And we had buddy time, like with our respective coffee mugs again.
Oh,
so then,
that's great.
Yeah. So, which was pretty awesome. So then we hit the road and, we get to the airport. We have our matching luggage, which is amazing. Well, not matching luggage, just like themed luggage, like Star Wars themed. So she has like a 3PO carry-on and I have an R2-D2 carry-on. Yeah. Awesome. Which is amazing. And then I have a big Boba Fett, like our big suitcases are, one's Boba Fett and the other one looks like Chewbacca. Like it's got his bandolier and his yeah.
That is fucking great. So all of your luggage is some kind of Star Wars themed.
Yeah.
Which I keep forgetting is Disney.
Right.
Or even remember that it's Disney, but when you start putting it in with the mouses, Mickey and Minnie, I'm like, it takes me a second to be like, oh wow, this is all part of the same thing.
Yeah. And
that really is magic.
Which is great because I said I want enough T-shirts so that every day I wear a different Disney property, like all of my T-shirts I want to be Disney for when we're going through the parks. And so there's a great collection of T-shirts as we go through these pictures too. But it was really easy because I just found a bunch of Star Wars shirts because those were all. I have like a limited selection. I don't even have a shirt that has Mickey Mouse on it. I couldn't find one my size. But I have one that has like the guy from Up, the old man from Up on it. And it says like, how about no? I love that shirt. I have an Incredible shirt. So it looks like I'm Mr. Incredible. And then a bunch of Star Wars shirts, which my favorite being the I like big buns. And
yeah,
it's got a picture
that one is fantastic.
of Princess Leia on it. Like, so... So we get to the airport and we fly out with zero incident. We get in and it's raining.
What was it? Because you flew first class. Remember, I had loved my experience so much. And now I was on the plane for a long time, but did you have a good flight experience? Or
the flight was fantastic. I mean, I drank 2 scotches on the way down, and nice. Ash had a Jack and Coke and a mimosa or what's the what's the champagne and orange juice? Is that mimosa?
That's a mimosa.
Yeah. So she had one of those, and then she had a Jack and Coke.
Nice.
And then on the flight back, we each had a Jack and Coke. With like, she was like, do you have any coffee? He's like, oh, it's just warming up. It's not ready yet. She's like, all right, I'll take a Jack and Coke. Then he's like, well, that was a stretch. That was a big jump. I was like, I'll have one. I'll have one also, please.
Awesome.
Which was awesome. So, but so we flew down. It was raining when we got there, which was fine. We checked in without a problem. Got to our room. So the first room that they put us in, we walk in. Now, I mean, we have been like saving for this and like preparing for this since February, right? And the first room we walk into is a double. Like there's 2 full-size beds, which is smaller than the beds that we have at home, right? And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, not happening. And so I called and got right through, and this woman's like, yep, we have a king available, like, which it totally worked out in our favor because it put us like right on the other side of the pool, which was really nice. So we were like if you've never been to like, I started to call it the walking world of Wait Disney, because it's just so much walking and so much waiting. Like, it's an even split between walking, waiting, and actually doing park stuff like riding rides or eating or whatever, like but it's an even split between those 3 things. And so you just do so much walking and waiting. So it was really nice that we got this room, like we got changed to this room that was like essentially right in the front door. Like, it was great. So we get checked in, and then we head to the first thing we do is like so we did the deluxe dining plan, which I would highly recommend if you're going without kids. Like, if you're just going to go as grown-ups without kids, do the deluxe dining plan, and then find somebody who's willing to like get up at 4 a.m. and make all your reservations for you at the most amazing restaurants you'll ever eat in your entire life. Like, you'll never eat at like better places. It's crazy.
Wait, how does that work? Like, you sign up as part of the package that you purchase for this?
Yeah. So you get there's multiple tiers of the dining plan, and we got the like deluxe one. And so that basically works out for every day that you're at the resort. You get 3 meal credits and 2 snack credits per person. And meals, if they're sit down meals, you get an appetizer, an entree, and dessert per person, with anything but alcohol included in your beverages. And if you do counter service, it's essentially that you get an entree with a side and a drink. And then, which the quick service is basically you just walk up and get whatever's like on their fast menu, and there's not a server serving you. But then there's fancy restaurants that instead of spending just 1 meal credit per person, you can spend 2 meal credits per person, and then anything's fair game on the menu.
Oh, wow. At
those restaurants. So like we ate at one on my birthday, we ate at the California Grill, which is in their top 3 restaurants, and I got a 16-ounce steak, and the bill was like almost $300, and it was covered. It was covered in that, like, so just the meal portion was $300. We spent another $100 on top of that in booze and tip. So, but I got a 1 pound steak. The steak was it was huge, and we got 2 appetizers. We got like oysters Rockefeller, which were amazing, and I got this old fashioned there, which it wasn't even just the best old fashioned I ever had. It's the best mixed drink I've ever had.
Yeah, what is that? It's like whiskey and what?
It's so it's like you do a sugar cube and bitters. and then you muddle it. So you mash the sugar cube up with the bitters, and then you put like orange zest in there, and you can muddle that as well. And then I usually will do. You're supposed to put bourbon in it, but the bourbon's too strong for me, so I like to put scotch in it. But bourbon is what you're supposed to use, and then I think a splash of simple syrup, and then some maraschino cherry juice and a couple maraschino cherries.
Nice. Yeah, I think the bride makes that occasionally at home, every once in a while.
Yeah,
I would recognize that.
If you've ever, what's that movie with oh shit, it's Steve Carell and Hey Girl, that guy. What's his name?
Ryan Gosling. Yeah. Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah, it's the drink that Ryan Gosling makes.
Oh, nice.
Like that he's like.
that he makes for her,
like,
and she gulps it down.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's got the big, like the big piece of orange peel in it and everything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's awesome.
He makes like a really fancy old fashioned. Yeah, and she does she's just like, oh, like right down.
I love that moment. I love that movie. That movie's fantastic.
That movie is great. There's one to add to the list, Double D.
Oh, definitely. I recommend it to anyone, unless I don't even know what. Yeah, I think anyone.
So we just ate at a ton of like really amazing restaurants. So that one we ate at one called Narcosis, which is like all of them have, like, all these restaurants have amazing views. And that place, like, we got lobster that was included in that meal plan. Like, we just kept saying over and over again, these are restaurants that if they existed in our neighborhood, we would never, even if they were in our neighborhood, we would never eat at them. They're too fancy.
Yeah.
You know? So it was just really, like, that piece of it was really nice. And it really felt like a vacation, you know, like doing something that you're not normally going to do.
Yeah.
And then another thing that we did, which was totally worth it, was we did the photo pass, where I think that was like $150 add-on to our package. But then anybody and there's dozens of them around every park, but they have photographers there that will take your picture, and then they scan your Magic Band, and then at the end of your trip, all of those pictures that got taken, plus any of the pictures that got taken on rides, you get to download digitally and can do whatever you want with them.
Oh, wow. Magic Band?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Magic Band is like Disney's tracking device. It's so...
Oh, that sounds creepy.
It is creepy. Like, when you think about... So, just to get into the park, you have to scan your Magic Band, which is your tickets, right? So you scan your Magic Band. There's like an RFID chip inside there. So you scan your Magic Band, and then there's a fingerprint scanner. And the first time that you ever do it, they put your fingerprint on file, and you have to use the same finger every time. And the ticket, so this is already assigned to Palmer, right? Oh, beep out my name. Sorry.
Sure.
So this is already assigned to Palmer. And then once it's associated with that fingerprint, if I were to give you my, like, let's say you were down there with me and I gave you my Magic Band then, and you went to scan it and, like, put your finger in there are police waiting there just to arrest people for, like, giving away their tickets.
Whoa.
Because they take it so seriously. Like, you just don't mess around with it. Like,
wow.
It's crazy. So, like, we were talking with another couple, because you get really chatty. Like, there's one, you're excited, and two, there's just Disney people. Like, it's like, did you hear it when you heard, like, Double D and Stan the Man talking? Like, could you just hear, like, they just have this, like, there's this, like, rooted love for Disney and what they're talking about, right?
Yeah, I have a coworker too, I think, that calls it the happiest place on earth. And
yeah. And so when you go to Disney, I was telling Ash, like, that you can tell which type of person it is, if it's a Disney person or if it's just somebody that was like, yeah, let's try this for a vacation, and just it's not for them. You know what I mean? Like, so it really concentrates like those Disney people. And I mean, I mean, shit, you get Star Wars, right? Like, they're gonna pull in Star Wars fans. It doesn't matter what they do. Their Star Wars fans are just going to flock there, right? And Disney has that same level of devotion in all of their brands. And so it just concentrates these loyal fans down there, so that I don't know, like, it's the only place that I can just like look at a kid and have a conversation with a total stranger's kid and nobody thinks I'm weird. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
right, yeah.
Or you could just strike up a conversation with another couple and talk. Like, I love just talking to these older couples who, like, one we met, they had just dropped their youngest son off to college the week before, and this was their first trip back to Disney since their honeymoon, where it was just them. Like, they had brought their kids, like, growing up and everything, but it was their first trip back just for them. And that was, like, so awesome. And you get to have those, you can just, like, get those conversations with anybody that you interact with. And, yeah, it just, oh, man, you just are surrounded by Disney people, which makes it really awesome. So, but I was having a conversation with a guy about the Magic Bands, and we were just talking about, what they can do. And I mean, part of it is like data collection for them, where if their algorithms are somewhere tracking times of everything and just trying to make the park as efficient as possible. So like they can spot trends and movement of people. And like, I know all that, like if they're not doing that, they're stupid.
Yeah,
I'm
sure they are.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and this guy was like, I don't know, that seems a little far-fetched. I was like, listen, if you don't think it's far-fetched, like, go back down to where they're putting in Star Wars Land, and just because it's all this like boarded off area where there's construction going on, and take your Magic Band and throw it over that fence, and I guarantee you within 5 minutes there's going to be 4 guys over there looking for where you are because they think you're over there. He's like, I never thought of that. I should give that a try. I'm like, don't do that. Are you kidding me? Like, you'll get banned from the parks. So, but yeah. So highly recommend the deluxe dining plan. Highly recommend the photo pass. That was the memory maker. That's what that's called. Totally worth it. Because of course we took our own cell phone photos, which are what we essentially shared in that shared folder.
Yeah.
But there's just so much more that we got to take where it's just the two of us, in the photo, and it's not obviously a selfie, which was great. So both of those were worth it. But starting Sunday morning, we did nonstop parks from Sunday through Friday. Every day we did parks, open to close, and just hoofed it everywhere. We put we put about 75 miles in from Saturday to Saturday.
Oh wow, on foot.
On foot, yeah, all on foot. So, which, for a hefty guy, that's a lot. Let me tell you.
It sounds like a lot for anyone, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we start the parks, and it's just, it's like any other experience like that. Like you want to try to get as much in as you can. And I mean, God bless, beep her name, but God bless, because she did a phenomenal job of like really mapping out. You can get fast passes, which those are like, they're in a window of time that essentially let you walk right onto a ride,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you don't have to stand in line, but you only get 3 of them every day. And those open up like 4 months before your vacation. And so if you're not on the ball, like all the good fast passes will get taken up. Like if you wait until like the day before your vacation, you're not going to get any good fast passes. It's just not happening, right? And so like, she got up at like 4 a.m. to book our fast passes because that's when they happen to open up, and she really had them all mapped out. So we really got to take advantage of some of the most popular rides in the parks.
And you were saying you did was it a different park every day? I noticed there was like a different kind of theme or focus to the photos each day.
Yeah. Yes. So we did Magic Kingdom on Sunday, and then we did Epcot on Monday. Is that right? Yeah. Epcot on Monday, Hollywood Studios on Tuesday, and then Wednesday was supposed to be our break day, and we ended up doing more on that day than anything else. Like we went back to Magic Kingdom to see the fireworks show there, which was just fantastic. We went to, and then that was Tuesday, one of those days. Oh man, it's already like screwed up in my head. Isn't that crazy?
Well, there's so many things crammed in such a short amount of time, and also you just got back yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
that's like spoiler alert. Yeah, that was the addition, the extra 3 days we got to spend down there.
Oh right, I hadn't done the rest of the math. That's for our listeners who also don't do day math there.
Yeah. So but you're right. It is so much. So. I mean, so our first day we have Magic Kingdom, and like that's my birthday day. So we start that out with brunch at the Crystal Palace with the Winnie the Pooh characters, which fantastic, right?
Now, is that your favorite? Is that why you did that first on your birthday?
Oh no, it just happened to be like I keep saying her name, but she just went through and booked fun stuff for us. So she's like,
"Oh, that's great." I thought she advised. I didn't realize she did it. That's amazing.
Yeah. So we just went along for the ride. It was great. So for the most part. So then we just did Magic Kingdom for the rest of the day, because that breakfast was in Magic Kingdom, and so Splash Mountain was closed, which was awesome that I did not have to do that or like talk myself into doing that, which was fantastic.
And that's the one for that you were, the real look of terror is on your face in the photo.
Yeah. And then so when you first go into Magic Kingdom, it's called Main Street USA, and it's supposed to show like this progress of a downtown area of a town, and there's a bunch of storefronts and shops all on there, one of which happens to be a legit barber shop. And they do adult haircuts, but mainly what people have done there is a kid's first haircut happens there.
Oh.
And there's only 3 chairs, and it's just like anything else. Like the reservations fill up for it like months in advance, right? So I told Ash, I was like, I would really love a beard trim at Harmony Barbershop for my birthday. I think that would be awesome. And she's like, oh yeah, you should totally do that. And so I started calling, and it was just like no go, like no reservations. And so finally the last lady I talked to trying to get the reservation, she's like, listen, we have walk-in. They reserve a chair for walk-ins. So just try that on the day that you're in the park. And so Ash was like, let's walk down and see if we can get in. And we walk in, and I was like, I was wondering if I could get in for I get that far, and he's like, I'm not trying to stereotype, but he was supposed to work in a salon. This man was supposed to work in a salon. Because he's just like, oh no, I don't have any appointments right now. They're just all full. Wait, it's your birthday? I was like, yeah, it's my birthday. I just want a beard trim. Oh, you just want the beard? You're next. Like, you just like.
That's what you want. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And so.
You're next.
You're next. Like, and he did that with his hand, too. Like,
that's perfect.
There are indeed 3 small children, like 1-year-olds, in booster seats getting their hair cut, and like the photographer is there who doing the memory maker and like taking pictures of these kids getting their first haircuts, right? And I finally, like, one of them gets done and I get to sit down, and I was like, I just want my beard trimmed. And she was super nervous, like really nervous. And then the guy taking the pictures, now there's small children getting their first haircuts in there. And I'm sitting next to them getting my beard trimmed, right? The dude taking the pictures is just all of a sudden is just like, this is awesome. And just literally hangs out and takes my picture for the entire time she's doing the beard trimming, right?
Oh, wow.
And so one of the pictures that they do with the kids is where they have the lady who does the haircut holds a mirror facing the photographer, and the kid's back, they have Mickey ears on that say "My First Haircut," and the kid's back is to the photographer, but their face is in the mirror. Can you picture what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of like how they show you the back of your haircut.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Done for the photographer.
Yeah, right. For the person's face, right?
Yeah.
Is in the mirror. I was like, but I want to recreate that photo with my beard. And they did it, and I had they put the pixie dust in my beard, which was awesome.
Oh, that's where that stuff came from.
Yeah,
I saw that in some other photos that I thought, I don't know where I thought it came from. That's awesome.
So that's me getting my beard trimmed, and then we went to the most amazing dinner ever at the California Grill. Had that great steak, and then the next day we went to Epcot, and that's where we went and ate at the Rose and Crown, and I had a Scotch flight. So I drank a 12-year, a 15-year, and an 18-year Scotch all in this flight, and it was just awesome. It was an awesome experience to see what the difference was between all 3 of those. Like that how bitey the 12-year was, and then how the 18-year was just nothing. It was just like air in your mouth. It was so good. Caramely air in your mouth, you know. So we did that, and it was that was a British pub. So we got their fish and chips, which was amazing. And you're just eating so much. Like every time you're sitting down and eating, you're getting you get an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert per person.
Oh, wow.
So just eating so much. And we met, our server was amazing. She was over here. It's not just the people that are visiting, but also a lot of the cast members just love Disney. And so she essentially told us our story, where her story, where she was not raised as a Disney kid or anything like that. She just happened to be traveling on her own and decided to come to Disney and fell in love with it, and then applied for their college student program, where you can do a semester or a year working at Disney as an internship, essentially. And she was doing that program, and was talking about how her program is done at the end of the summer, and she while she's telling us this story, starts crying because she's like, this place is so magical, and I get to help bring that magic to people, and I don't know what I'm going to do. It's just crazy, how fanatical you get, or you can find people. So then the next day was Hollywood Studios, and we started the day. You saw that picture, right, with Ash on Tower of Terror?
Yeah.
Where she, as Double D put it, he's like, Ash looks like she's frozen in carbonite.
That's perfect. I gotta relook at that.
Oh man. So
We'll have to tweet that out. So I'll let you choose later on which photos you want to tweet. I definitely would recommend whenever you can, if you have them, to do the memory ones because that's just so fun. Like it's like a branded thing,
Oh yeah. Well, and I now that I've activated those, they won't have the watermark on them. So, and I'll be able to edit them any way I want. I got to sit in. So they have a Muppets. They have a Muppets thing at the Hollywood Studios, and I didn't do it when I was there in 2013. So now when you walk in, it's like the Muppet Theater, like from the Muppet Show. And that was I grew up. I always would get up early, and I loved Nickelodeon because it was like at 6:00 they had an episode of the Muppets, and then at 6:30 they had an episode of Mr. Wizard. And so I would get to watch both those things. So like to sit in that theater was so awesome.
Oh wow!
And then we watched the March of the First Order come through, which was pretty cool. They were walking by, and I was like, "Boo! Down with the First Order!" And there's two of them that just kind of like march around whenever the march isn't actually happening, and just like mess with people, And so these two guys were walking around, and I was like, "Down with the First Order." And like they stop in their tracks and like military turn and walk up to me, and they're like, the one guy's like, "I see your lips moving, but all I hear is static." And like spun on his heels again and like marched away. Oh, it was awesome. Like got to heckle stormtroopers, which was great.
Do they it's great. Do they sound different or just a person's voice underneath it?
No, they sound like a stormtrooper.
Oh,
like it comes out like a stormtrooper. Like there's no half-assing anything at Disney, dude. Like it's like Kylo Ren, when I met Kylo Ren, was like meeting Kylo Ren. Like he was like silenced. It sounded like Kylo Ren.
Wow.
Like, and it came out of his mask like crazy. So we rode Star Tours like 3 times. We walked right on that, that's like the really good Star Wars ride that they have. And it's got like 80 different scenes. I've heard different numbers. It has a number of different scenes, so it's different every time you ride it. It like randomizes what scenes play. And the basic theme is you're on a ship that 3PO ends up inadvertently piloting with R2, and 3PO is legit in the cockpit. Like you could reach out and touch him. It's physically there as an animatronic, right?
Yeah.
And he's like flying the ship in the room that you're in. Like it's like crazy, right? And then R2 is supposed to be on the outside of the ship like an R2, like an astromech droid's supposed to be, right? So he's like on a video screen interacting with like 3PO while he's flying the ship. And so the main gist of the story is that there's a rebel spy on the ship, and 3PO has to fly him to the Resistance. And so we did that ride a bunch. It was awesome. But because like when you're flying in that, so the whole thing moves. It's on like gimbals, right? Mm-hmm. So it like moves around, and you have 3D glasses, so it looks like it looks really good. So when you're flying in the ship and it goes to hyperspeed or like to hyperspace, the whole thing like tilts back like this, so it feels like you're like jumping into hyperspace. Like it's and then when it like, you know how in the Star Wars universe, like when they come out of hyperspace, they jar into a stop like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like it does that in the ship. Like you're like, whoo, like you just stopped. Like it's so awesome. And then they had an Indiana Jones special effects show, which was really cool. And then there's not a lot of rides right now. They're in the middle of opening. Toy Story Land and Star Wars Land are going to get added to Hollywood Studios. We thought that was going to be our shortest day, and we ended up spending the most time at Hollywood Studios. But we did their one closing show, but we didn't do the Star Wars fireworks that night. We went back and did the Star Wars fireworks, which were phenomenal. hands down. The peak of that day, though, was I got to meet Chewbacca, which was just absolutely amazing. You try really hard not to be that guy, like like you try really hard not to fall into stereotypes, right? Like I'm already an obese man-child who loves Star Wars. Like, I'm not going to be the one that like legit pretends this is really Chewbacca, right? Like I'm just going to pose for the picture and it's going to be all right. And like you come in and like his mouth moves like Chewbacca and it really makes Chewbacca noises. Like it looks like fucking Chewbacca is there. Like you're totally wrapped up in it. You just get like I was standing in line and there was a cast member there, and we walked in and there was like no wait for Chewbacca. There was no line, and she's like, Chewbacca's right over, like the line for Chewbacca is right over there, and I'm like I might cry, and she's like, oh my gosh, I might cry with you, and she like she came into every one of the experiences just to share that moment. Like she wanted to be a part of that moment, like seeing me when we saw Chewbacca and then Kylo Ren and then BB-8. And I didn't know she had done this, but when we were coming out of BB-8, she's like, I saw every one of your meets. She's like, that was so awesome. And like, so she like was totally into it. Like it was just so great. So Chewbacca's there and he talks like Chewbacca. So Ash is wearing, that great, fantastic shot of Chewbacca on Hoth in Empire, where they're about to kill the probe droid, but it's like he's in the snowstorm and he just looks pissed, like like his hair's all blown over to the side and he's cold. And oh, you're cold? But he just looks pissed. You know that shot that I'm talking about?
Think so.
Right? So that's on Ash's shirt, and then it says, "I woke up like this," and so Chewbacca sees that and he's like, oh, and he like makes the noise and he like points at her shirt and gives her a huge hug and shakes my hand, and like his hand. I got big mitts. His hand like wraps around my hand. Like and he's like 2.5 heads taller than me. Like this is legit, right? And so we pose for the pictures. I'm sobbing, and like she hugs Chewbacca, and he like there's a moment where he's like, "Do you want to hug me?" And I'm like, I hug him, and I pull back, and I'm like, "I'm so sorry for your loss." Like it like. Totally like just a fanboy. I'm like, I'm so sorry for your loss. And he like stops and he puts his hand on his own heart and then makes the Chewbacca crying noise. Like that morning, like, you know that sound when they
close the doors?
Yes,
Yeah.
that sound. That's the sound that he made, like as he's holding his heart. And then he like grabs me and pulls me into a hug again. Like, oh my gosh, it was so amazing.
Oh man.
So amazing. So we come from that. Oh man, I realized my window's open and I'm like screaming. And it's 11:30.
It's joy. People deal with it.
Yeah. So we come from that over to Kylo Ren, and like I'm wearing the I Like Big Buns shirt.
Yeah, that's amazing.
that has Princess Leia on it, which is Kylo Ren's mom.
So just for people that I don't know, maybe don't see the picture. So it's obviously it's the buns in her hair. Like it's the New Hope, like Princess Leia with basically like the donuts on her head or the coolers or whatever. But yeah, it's an amazing shirt. I love it.
So I'm wearing that shirt. Ash is wearing that Chewbacca shirt. So they are really intentional about giving each person their own experience. So even when you're standing in line, you can't see the character or the people posing with the character. there's like a cast member that will direct you around that corner once the other people ahead of you are out of the room. Like they don't even want you to they don't want them to see you, and they don't want you to see them, like so that you literally feel like you get your own experience with this character.
Yeah.
And so we're standing there waiting to see Kylo Ren, and there's a young girl and her mother ahead of him, and the girl has Darth Vader on her shirt, and the cast member, even the cast members, are either a member of the Resistance or the First Order. So like the handlers for Chewbacca were like total Resistance members, right?
Yeah.
Like we're like, and so the girl that's handling that's the cast member handler for Kylo Ren, she's like, "Oh, I see you have Darth Vader on your shirt," and the little girl's like, "Yeah." She's like, "He will always be in our hearts." And so she's like total dark side. She's got like pale makeup. She like totally looks like she's a member of the First Order, like just minimalist everything, and like has one of their uniforms on, and it's just like, again, they like go all out. And so it's finally our turn, and we come around the corner, and the first words out of his mouth are, obviously we have a couple members of the Resistance, and and so he won't even come near us. He won't shake our hand. I mean, he does not break character. And so I was like, "Oh, hey Ben, how's it going?" He's like, "Silence," like that, like. And I was like, "No problem, Ben. We won't talk." And like, so he stands there. I mean, you see how awkward the pictures are, right?
Yeah.
Because we're like laughing, and he's like, "Brr," like being all like whiny Luke about it, you know, like. And so as soon as we're done, he's like, "Leave!" And like, wants us out of there, which was awesome. And then we met BB-8, and BB-8 loved Ash's shirt too, and that was, I mean, it's just a robot head on a ball. It was not, I mean, it was cool. It was cool, but it was not Chewbacca. I mean, I had a moment with Chewbacca.
Yeah.
So, which I mean, it was just awesome. That was all awesome. And then, so the next day was supposed to be our off day. We ended up going to Chef Mickey, which is like a buffet. It's like the Winnie the Pooh breakfast, where you do the character meals, because you get to see a bunch of characters all in one. They come right up to your table and take pictures with you. Oh. If you want to see them at the park, you're going to stand in line for like 45 minutes to an hour, and they're hidden all over the parks. Like you have to find them essentially, like to get those character interactions. I mean, you can find them on the map and everything. It's just they're tucked away. They're not in obvious locations. Mm-hmm. It's not like they seek you out where they're just walking around, and you like all the movies, like how the movies and TV shows always portrayed is like they just like all of a sudden the main character's like there, and then like Mickey Mouse is covering their eyes, like, "Oh, Mickey just walked up on," you know. That like rarely, if at all, ever happens. Like that, like I could not imagine Mickey being able to freely walk out on like down like Main Street USA without he wouldn't be able to move. Like he would just get mobbed by people. Mm-hmm. I think that's why they don't do that anymore. They have to do these controlled things. So we do the Chef Mickey because it's like you just get a lot of bang for your buck. So we got to meet all the major characters, Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, and Pluto. Like, is that the Fab Five or whatever?
That sounds right for a lay person like myself.
Yeah. So, and we did that. We went back and did the Castle Fireworks show that night. Then the next day we went to Epcot again. We ate around the world. That was so fantastic. So Epcot, so Epcot is the one. So Epcot's the one with the big golf ball looking thing.
Yeah.
All right. That's in the ride portion of the park. The other portion of the park is like the International Gateway or something like that, where typically there's 11 countries represented around this like circle pond, and each one is like a flavor of those countries, where there's one or two themed restaurants or eateries in there, and there might be a ride, maybe, but maybe not. And then definitely shops from that country, like where you can buy things that are themed from that country. But there's 11. In the fall, they do the International Food and Wine Festival, where it goes up to like, they then have little stalls for countries around that loop as well. And it swells up to like 40 or like some ridiculous amount, like 40 different countries. And then each one of those stalls will have like 3 different like 1 or 2 bite things, like little appetizers that are representative of that country, and then 2 or 3 mixed drinks that are also representative of that country. So on our meal plan, every one of those little bites basically counted as a snack credit. So we just walked around that circle and went from 22 snack credits down to 8 snack credits, just like trying crap at this International Food and Wine Festival, which was awesome. So, trying to think. Then we went back to, we did a second day at Magic Kingdom, which was great. We got to eat at the castle, Belle, that Beauty and the Beast happens at. And like they have 3 dining rooms in that castle, and each one is like a different room from the castle. So there's the main ballroom, like where they do the dance, like and then there's like the side room, which I don't know what that one's. It's got a bunch of paintings from their time together in the castle. And then the last room is the Beast study, where like everything is slashed. There's like all the tapestries slashed, and the rose is over in the corner. And every 20 or every hour or something like that, it goes from like a full rose down, and it like every petal falls off like over the hour, and then it restarts every hour. And it's like constantly like they're storming outside. Really cool. The theming is just amazing.
Is it like that for the Star Wars thing, where you walk through environments like that?
Yeah. So going up to the Star Wars, the Star Tours, it looks like Endor. Like the trees are up, and there's one. The other end of it, when you come out of that ride, looks like Tatooine, like the sand buildings. Now that's essentially it, right? That comes to my mind right now. The other side, like where you meet Chewbacca and everything, is set up like a museum. So they have like a full Darth Vader costume in there, like an actual one. They have actual lightsabers there with all the different characters that like so. On Chewbacca's side, it's all like light side lightsabers. And when you go over to the Kylo Ren side, it's all dark side lightsabers, which is awesome. Yeah. But that's kind of set up like a museum. The Star Tours is essentially the only Star Wars ride right now. Okay. And so that's the one that's like themed. So right outside of that is a stage where they do shows. So they do like a youngling Padawan school where these kids like they get like a Jedi outfit and they get a lightsaber, and then they fight either Kylo Ren or Darth Vader at the end of that. Like they get to like fight them
collectively, or like little one-on-one.
No, like one-on-one. Like they each get a moment.
Oh wow!
To fight with one of them. So, so that stage is right outside Star Tours. And then when you go inside Star Tours, so you know how you're on a shuttle. The shuttle it's like an airport. Like you would use these shuttles to travel to a known Star Wars universe planet like Coruscant or Tatooine, or you know what I mean? And so when you're going through, there's like in the first part, there's one of the spaceships that you're riding getting worked on by a bunch of droids. And then when you come into the second room, there's a droid that's like scanning luggage to make sure there's no like contraband on the luggage. And so he's like working these levers, and you see these like bags like coming through this x-ray machine, and like one of them, it like lights up and there's like a pair of boxer shorts, and he's like, whoa, my gosh, like I can't believe somebody'd wear that. Is that yours, pal? And he'll like point at somebody in the line and be like, are those yours? Like that. And then he'll like scan the next one, and it's got like an Incredibles outfit in it. And he's like, man, that is an incredible packing job. Just like all these like corny jokes, and like so it's got this like airport theme to it. But ultimately, they're going to open Star Wars Land, which will be a whole like area of the park that's going to be ridiculous. Like, I mean, it'll be like walking through Star Wars. Ooh. And then they're making a Star Wars resort that's supposed to simulate the experience of being in a like space station.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness.
Like there's not going to be windows that look outside. There's windows, but they're all going to be like looking out into space.
Wow.
So yeah, I like that's going to be ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous.
Do they have signs like coming 2020 or something like that?
I don't know how far out the resort is. I know the park. I don't know how far out either one of them are. They are coming soon. I think they just say coming soon, or they say excuse the mess, like we're busy making magic for you or something like that. Like they don't even give an allusion to what they're making. It's hard to hide an AT-AT walker. Like you can see.
Whoa!
Like a full size, like
huge?
yeah, oh yeah, God. Like yeah, like you just can't hide one of those things. You know what I mean? Like,
so you don't say AT-AT, you say AT-AT.
Oh yeah, I say AT-AT. AT-AT says yeah, I can't say
that. All right,
it's an AT-AT walker. That's what it is.
Did they ever say it aloud in the series, or?
I don't know. I don't know.
I can't hear it in my head. I just always call them AT-ATs.
Yeah, I've heard AT-AT. I don't know.
I've heard. Well, I've heard recently that there is a debate as to how what to say. But I
really
sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, just have a general sense that. When I
mean, they're Star Wars
like,
fans. They debate about everything.
Right.
Star Wars
yeah.
Fans, So, Animal Kingdom sucked.
Yes, it's definitely AT-AT as far.
In episode 32, the Disney double shot, you discussed whether it was pronounced AT-AT or AT-AT. I actually believe it is pronounced it, which is a third dialect of the fourth outer rim in the Star Wars universe. I don't know.
Obviously, you did not speak Bocce.
Yeah. It's like a second language to me. Fucking 3PO.
All right, shut up, go on.
Yeah. So
3PO gets so shit on in that first movie. Like everyone ignores him, dismisses him. I didn't realize it until I did that.
That's because he is so ridiculously annoying. Like
I don't know. I guess the last time I saw it, I was just like, oh my god, everyone's so shitty to him. But no, I'll watch it again with I don't know, with trying to look at it from the other side.
What'd you watch? What made you realize this?
A couple of years ago when we did the couples commentary no one asked for with Grams and his wife, who had not seen it, and so we thought it would be fun to watch. And so we're trying to comment on it like while we're watching it, and we put it up as like a podcast. But so we're trying to like talk over it and think of amusing things, and that was what I was struck by how often people are just shitty to 3PO.
That's because he's insufferable. He's just like.
That's right. I suppose.
I mean, even R2 shits all over him. I mean, because all you hear is like 3PO's translation of what R2's saying. So it's him reacting to like just R2 being shitty to him all the time. Like, and R2 is like super smart and knows what's going on. And so like half the time that he's like making stupid comments, like I can't think of one specifically from the movie, but there's a great example from Star Tours where like R2 is like flying the ship because 3PO can't do it, and we're on Coruscant, and he starts going the wrong way in traffic, and like R2 like gives all these beeps, and then 3PO's like, all of a sudden he's like, they're not going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way, you idiot. And like, R2 knows that. He's just doing that to mess with, because it's just to mess with 3PO. Like, oh, it's so fantastic.
I do love to hear those two bicker. I think I was surprised at how much the humans gave 3PO shit. But
yeah. But he brings it on himself.
I think we're watching it and the bride's like, you must be projecting or something. Everyone was like, why do you care? Just he's a droid.
I love that. I do love in episode 7 when his reveal where he's like, you probably did not recognize me because of my red arm.
Oh yeah, I lost my mind.
It's so fantastic. Oh man. So we did Animal Kingdom on the last day. It sucked. I was not happy with Animal Kingdom. I told Ash, I was like, we could totally skip this park. The Pandora part was really awesome, even though I couldn't ride the one Pandora ride. I couldn't fit on it.
That's Avatar?
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard.
Yeah, the
someone
Avatar
told me
ride.
that was amazing, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it looked just like the movie. Like there was like floating mountains when you're walking through it, and like all the plants looked like the plants from Avatar, and like we did the Navi River part where you like ride a boat through there, and that looked just like Avatar. And Ash said that the flying one was amazing. I wish I could have done it. My goal is now I got to lose some weight so I can go back and ride that ride. But
wait, that was why they didn't let you on?
Oh, I couldn't ride it.
What the fuck?
I was like the seat wouldn't. I could not fit in the seat the way they wanted me to.
Jesus, those sons of bitches! Like that's crazy.
I mean, it was I knew going in I wasn't going to be able to fit on it probably, and they need people to be safe. I would much rather be safe than it just be some like not caring teenager at a carnival who's just like crams me into a seat beyond its safety regulations, right?
Yeah. You just think they would make
them...
So,
I mean, I totally get it.
Scalable. Jesus.
But it's a known issue, and Disney said they're trying to create an alternative seat for... Because it's not just... It wasn't because of my belly even. It was because there's two pieces that clamp behind your calves, and my calves were too big. Like, those couldn't clamp far enough. He's like, I'm not worried about the back. We'll get the back, no problem. But we just have to get your legs right. And he even had me try to, like, stand up on my tiptoes and everything, and my calves would not let the leg braces come in. So... What I have heard, even you could be too tall and not be able to ride. It doesn't even have anything to do with like a belly. It's just so it's that like I knew it couldn't happen, and I actually, as embarrassed as I thought I would have been. So they have a test seat out in front of the line that you can try before you even get in line because. This ride is so popular because it's so new. The lines are still like 2 hours long, you know? And so they have a seat out front so you don't stand in line that whole time and can't ride it. I tried it, and she's like, yeah, it's probably not going to work. And I was like, well, can I still go through the line with my wife because I want to see the theming? Because, again, when you're standing in a Disney line, you're not actually standing in line. You're actually in whatever that ride is, you know, like... So once you hopped on in line, like you were in a space station in Pandora, like a base in Pandora, like a research facility, you know, and so I wanted to do that just to get the theming, because I heard that they have a full size avatar in the line, like is in a tube, you know, at the beginning of that movie when like the avatars are being grown in those tubes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They have one of those in the line, right? Well, we had a fast pass. To see that, you have to go through the like regular line. So I couldn't even see that. Like we get all the way through, and I couldn't even see that. But we get all the way in, and the guy who's manning the ride, he's like, "Listen, I've seen people not fit in the seat outside, but when they come in and they try, we were able to get them in the seat." He's like, "Will you just let me try one time to put you in?" And I was like, "Yeah, you can try, but I don't think it's gonna work." He's like, "Just let me try," and he really like. I didn't feel embarrassed about it at all. Like he really like put me at ease. Like let's just give it a shot, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
That's cool.
You know, and
I'm glad
like
to
they
hear
weren't
that,
really
at least.
shitty about it. You know, or and I didn't feel embarrassed or anything like that. So, but the last thing I want to talk about park wise was the like there were 2 closing shows that we watched that were just amazing. So we watched the Happily Ever After and then the Star Wars closing show. And the reason they were so amazing was they had awesome fireworks. But then they also projected images. So the Happily Ever After gets projected on the Cinderella Castle at Magic Kingdom. And then the Star Wars one gets projected on the Chinese theater that's in Hollywood Studios. And the projection is so precise that like at one point during Happily Ever After, they like make it look like, so you know the spires that are on the Cinderella Castle? They make one of them look like it takes off like a rocket, and it doesn't actually take off.
Oh, I get what you mean, though. From the projection, it seems that way.
Yeah, from the projection, it seems that way. And like when it's gone, it's like darkened while the rest is still, like their projection is so precise that they're able to not project on just that one spire, so it looks like it's actually gone because it took off like a rocket, you know? Like, and like... They made the whole castle look like a clockwork at one point where like everything was moving and gyrating, and it was just mind blowing. And then the Star Wars one, they had, so there was 3 main sections. There was the left and the right lower sections of the theater, and then the main. It's supposed to look like, is it Mann's Chinese Theater in Hollywood or whatever?
Yeah.
And so it's supposed to look like that. And so then there's the main section in the middle. And so they would have 3 different scenes going on, or it would look like all one scene. But then like anytime a spaceship would fly and shoot its lasers, they would actually fire lasers out. So of like real lasers. And like the fireballs would go off and you would feel the heat from them, and the fireworks would be all in conjunction with it. And it was like all John Williams music along with these images, and just breathtaking fireworks shows. I mean, amazing.
Wow.
So, if anybody hasn't pieced together yet, because this is going to air in October, right? Sometime or
that
November.
Sounds right.
Yeah. So we're down there in the week leading up to the climate deniers' bane, I guess, or climate change deniers' bane of their existence. I mean, Rush Limbaugh. Did you hear about Rush Limbaugh?
No, actually, I think I learned the term bane of existence from you in bowling, so that's not what I always think of first.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But this is Rush Limbaugh.
Rush Limbaugh said he said that Irma was a fabrication of the liberal media. It was a fabricated storm of the liberal media.
Like Wag the Dog or something?
Yeah. And then had to be evacuated from his Florida home because of Irma. Which was just, I mean, that just warmed my heart. I mean, so we're down there the week leading up to Irma. So it was around Wednesday where I got the first call of, hey, you might just want to check in with your airline just to see what's going on. Okay. We mentioned it to a couple cast members. Oh, no, like everything's going to be fine. Like, don't worry about it. It's not supposed to hit until like Monday. Well, you're fine. When do you fly out again? Like, so by Thursday, the question started, well, when do you fly out? Saturday. Oh, you'll be all right. You're fine. It's not going to hit until late Sunday, right? And then, so then we call Delta on Thursday. no, you don't need, like, you guys are, everything's going to be fine. It's not going to hit until this time. So then Friday comes and it's like escalated. It's like hitting earlier, right? And they still don't know which direction it's going to come yet. And so I call Friday. Nope. Orlando's shutting down at 5 on Saturday. You fly out at 5. You're going to be one of the last flights out. Okay, great. So then it's not until like 3 o'clock. It's like 26 hours before we're set to fly out. And they cancel our flight. And automatically reschedule it for Sunday at 11. And I'm like, well, I know that one's going to get canceled because that's in like the peak of when they were thinking things were going to happen.
Yeah.
And so that didn't happen. I was like, well, that one's going to get canceled too. And then within 45 minutes, that one was canceled. And then nothing from the airlines. And so I'm like, well, now we have to go back so that I can, like, I started really getting pissy. Like, because I was going against my gut instinct the whole time. Like, should we just like bail and get out of here, like rent a car and drive up to Atlanta and then fly out from Atlanta, or just drive all the way home? It's only 13 hours. I mean, you could do that in a go if you needed to, right?
Yeah, we do that to Ohio. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, there's all these possibilities, and like I kept just like taking my cues from the locals and trusting the airlines, like to go by what they're saying, like it's going to be okay, and then all that fell through at the last second, which really was frustrating to me, and like so I was getting really pissy, and we had one more dinner reservation and at the park that we were at. And so we go to that and we sit down and the waiter comes over and he does his normal Disney. Now, mind you, this is at like the evening of Friday. Our flights have already been canceled. We don't know. We don't have return flights yet. We don't know what we're going to do for a room yet because our reservation was already over. Or would be over the next morning because this was still Friday. And frankly, we didn't have the money. Like, I didn't know where we were going to get the money to like continue that trip. Right?
Yeah. That was one of my. Well, first I thought you were stranded at the airport, but then when I realized you were staying on, that was my first thought too. I was like, I'm sure that's expensive.
Yeah, and so so we sit down and the waiter comes over to just do his waiter thing. Except it's ramped up to 11 because it's Disney. He's like, oh yeah, hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? And I was just like, frankly, not good. Our flight just got canceled and we're stuck here and I don't know what we're going to do. And he just like, he was not shitty, but he totally humbled me just in a way where he was just like, yeah, I totally feel you. I mean, my wife and kid are stuck down here too. And I work here. Disney's making me work. So I totally get where you're coming from. And I was just like, instantly humbled, instantly like, holy shit, like don't be that guy. Like that on top of everything else, they don't need one more of those guys, So I really tried to turn it around and we went back to the resort and I told Ash, I was like, so here's the deal. We don't have any more clean clothes because our vacation's over. So I said, luckily our resort has 2 laundromats. I need you to go. I'm gonna get us a flight and figure out the room. In that time, I need you to try to get some laundry started so that we have clothes because I know we're gonna need clothes regardless of where we're staying. So she goes and does that. I am talking to the airline. We were supposed to fly out at 5 on Saturday. The earliest they can get us out is 11:30 on Tuesday. Like flights were literally filling up as I was talking to the representative, right? And she's like, I can get you out at 11:30 on Tuesday, and I was like, book it. And so she booked that, had that all taken care of. So then I go into the lobby of the hotel to figure out what I'm going to do for my stay, and I mean this is happening not only now. Is this what just happened to Ash and I happening to just about everybody else that was already staying at the resort. There's an influx of people who were already coming on vacation that couldn't get out of their travels to Disney, either because they were on a layover somewhere else or what have you, and an influx of emergency workers and South Floridians coming to the property to hunker down. So they're just swamped. I stood in line for about an hour and a half. And I went up, and again, I never saw, like, that waiter who was like real with me for a minute was the only time through this whole thing that I ever saw a cast member break character.
Wow. Oh man. Wow.
You know what
impressive.
I mean? Like break that Disney
Magic,
customer service. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And Ash saw something. Just a little side note. Ash saw one of the, just to talk about the cat, like calling them cast members and how, and breaking character and stuff like that. She saw there was a door that says, on the outside, it says employees only on it, right? And that she walked by, and that door happened to be propped open. And on the inside of that door was attention cast members, exits to stage. Like, literally, like letting them know. Yeah, right?
Wow.
So I go up to this cast member, and I was like, here's the deal. We're stuck until Tuesday, so we need 3 more nights, and I need them for as cheap as possible because I don't have any more money. I already spent all my money here. And she was like, okay. And so she calls, and she comes back, and she's like, we can do the same room that you're already in, so you don't have to move. After taxes, it'd be $250, which for Disney is like unheard of. Like that's for all 3 nights.
Oh, really? Oh my god.
Yeah, not a night like that.
Yeah.
Like it was only $250 more.
Holy shit.
That's what it cost us.
That sounds good. That sounds really good.
Yeah. And it was nowhere near what, I mean, that would have been a fantastic rate to have gotten them for the first week. And then, so we had a room, we had our tickets out. By that point in time, Ash comes up. She's like, the laundry's all in the dryer. I'm like, sweet. So then I was like, okay, food. They were saying you need to have supplies for 24 to 48 hours because we don't know how long you're going to have to hunker down in your room. So you need that much supplies in your room. So they started selling sandwich bags the next night. So this was Friday night. Everything was still, by this point, they know the direction the storm is coming up the west coast of Florida. They know Orlando is not going to hit as bad. Oh no, they don't know that by Saturday yet. But things haven't really gotten that hair. Like everything was still running as normal. Mm-hmm. The parks were still going to open on Saturday as normal. They were just going to close early, and that was about it. And so we knew it was going to be sometime in the middle of the night on Sunday that we were going to have to hunker down, you know. And so we go to bed Friday night. We get up Saturday. I ended up ordering 3 large pizzas, 3 extra large pizzas from Papa John's for they were extra large 2 toppings for $11 each. And we had a box of gallon bags that we had brought with us for like wet clothes. And so I ordered all those pizzas Friday night, and then Saturday morning when they were cold, we just bagged them up and threw them in the fridge and like used that to munch on for the next 3 days, you know.
Sounds kind of amazing.
Yeah, so it was fantastic, actually.
Sounds really good.
I mean, because so again, we're trying to take our cues from the locals, and that was what we were trying to communicate with everybody back here who only had access to like the 24-hour news cycle. If South Floridians are coming from Miami and the Keys to Disney property to hunker down for this thing, like, we're in the safest place we can be, right?
Yeah.
And so
In the happiest place on earth, as they say.
yeah, exactly. And so at this point, it's like we have clean clothes, we have clean underwear again. We're all stocked up on supplies. Like I followed all the directions. We stored as much water as we could, and we got food, and we got the room taken care of. That didn't break the bank. So really, what do we have here? We have an excuse to stay in a hotel room for another 3 days. Like, darn, right? So the next day on Saturday, I was like, we had one more. It was our last breakfast. That would have been our last breakfast before we flew out. So we did that, and when we came back, I was like, man, I think I want to call. I had to talk to the concierge for something else, and Ash happened to be there while he was checking on something for us, and I was like, I think I'm going to call an Uber and try to find somewhere that has beer so I can get some beer. And the concierge was like, don't do that. He's like, take the bus down to Disney Springs. There's a speedway right by where the bus lets you off. Just get your beer there and then bring the bus back. And I was like, because they have their own transit system that will take you to you can get to any other Disney property from any Disney property, basically. You can get to any park from any resort, and then from the parks you can get to any resort. So you might have a layover, but you can they have their own public transit basically for Disney property. And so I took that, and it was like you had to walk all the way down, and then you had to cross a footbridge, and then you had to backtrack, and then you had to reverse that to get back to the bus. And so I bought 12 pounders of PBR and an 18-pack of Miller Lite. Mm-hmm. And I hoofed it back to the bus depot with all this beer. And there were these 3 people in the line, and we kind of struck up a conversation, and they were like, did you head over to the Speedway for that beer? I was like, yeah. And they're like, man, that's awesome. I was like, yeah, just getting ready to hunker down. I was like, where are you guys from? And they're like, because that's another question you always ask Disney people. And they're like, oh, no, we're from Southern Florida. We came up to ride out the storm. And I'm like, oh, see, that's exactly what I'm trying to explain to friends and family back home. If you guys are coming here to ride out the storm, we're in a good spot. They're like, oh yeah, you're fine. So then we get back to the hotel with the beer, and we're ready to hunker down. And that dude ends up coming over. He's like, hey, do you remember me from the bus depot? I was like, yeah. He's like, my wife and my friend are over here just having a drink if you guys wanted to join us. And I was like, Ash, we don't have anything else to do. Let's join them. So we ended up drinking with them all Saturday night. And then the next day is it's going to hit, right?
Yeah.
Or something I forget the timeline gets screwed up again. So, well, because I've been doing now I'm adding drinking to the whole mix and, on top of getting trapped in a hotel room. But I mean, we got a little bit of wind in Orlando. It was still really humbling. So those people had a house and a restaurant that the eye was going to pass over of the storm. And so they had already shipped their kids off to their parents in Indiana, and then they came up here just to ride out the storm. And they were just super chill, super awesome people. The guy was like, dude, I saw you, when I realized that you had walked all that way for that beer, I just looked at you in that bus line with all that beer, that guy is my spirit animal. And just super awesome like that, right? So after the storm hit, so I kept shooting updates just to keep people informed, so they weren't panicking.
For listeners, just in case, because I think most people think social media, but it was basically this kind of closed social media of the iCloud.
Yeah, that shared folder, that same one that we had been sharing our picture trip, or the pictures of the trip on. I continued to use that then, and we added even more people to that folder. just so they could get those updates, because we were getting texts from everybody. Like, where are you at? Like, where are you? Like, are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. So we just started adding more people to that folder. And then every time I would get up, I would shoot another video of like, this is what's going on. It's raining, or here's the wind blowing, or here we are drinking with our friends from South Florida again, and, just really to try to just to keep people informed and keep people at ease. Cause again, I was really disappointed with CNN's coverage. Like it was like Fox News level of fear mongering. Really, really, really bothered me when I'm sitting in it. Granted, I was not in Miami or in Fort Myer or in, was it Naples, Florida, got hit really hard. Those areas did get hit hard. But in Orlando, watching the local coverage in Orlando showing how Florida handled those areas and got those people out of those areas, like Florida had its shit together. Like they were not going to make the mistakes that happened in Texas, right? And there was just not, once it made landfall, aside from those few places, it really petered out. I mean, it didn't hit Orlando anywhere near as hard as they were expecting it to. I mean, you saw the videos. I took a video about 40 minutes after its peak, about 2:45, and it was windy. There was a bamboo tree that got uprooted in the resort. That was the only damage at the resort that I saw. And by 10 o'clock the next morning, all that shit was cleaned up because of Disney.
Yeah.
So we ended up going out. Those people had their car with them, so we went out just to see off property, just to see what it was like. The power was out, but there was over 10,000 utility workers in Orlando on Saturday night.
Whoa.
That were just there ready for the storm to be over so they could go restore power. So again, they just had their shit together. If you had to ride out a hurricane, we were in the best place for it.
Yeah.
We had plenty of food. We had plenty of water. We were taken care of. And then we ended up, our flight went off without a hitch. We were expecting the airport to really be swamped. And we got right through security. I mean,
really? Like it wasn't a madhouse?
No. I mean, wove through the line of nothing right up to the person that checked our ID, and then right up to the thing it took, they were waiting for us, the people, to check us, to put all of our bags in the bins to slide them through. They were waiting on us, not the other way around. They were just standing there, and as soon as we put the stuff through, then they were like, okay, now step over here, put your arms up, stand on the yellow, And we got through that with zero incident. Then got on the flight and got the hell out of there. And literally landed. So Irma hit early in our extended stay, and then landed in Cincinnati, which is in northern Kentucky, technically, that airport, to Irma again, and then had to drive home through the rain of Irma, because it passed right through. So it had made it up that far in that time. So, but yeah, we got home yesterday, and that was it. So.
Wow. That is, I mean, the trip to Disney alone is kind of an epic experience, right? And then to tag that onto it. But it sounds like, for such a bad thing to have happen, you get to have the interactions with the Southern Floridians and stuff, and made some new friends. And
absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. It was pretty awesome. And then at the same time too, it was humble. It was just the idea that, come Tuesday morning, we were going to get to fly out of there, and they were still going to have to deal with whatever mess was left there, so their house was spared.
Okay.
I did not hear about their restaurant yet, but their house was spared. There was no power as of yesterday. I haven't texted them today. Oh, excuse me. I haven't texted them today to find out what their progress has been, because they have bigger fish to fry than just talking to some dude in Ohio. who, and then we got like this is how I think the universe is just like, I'm just paying back some bad luck. we got back the outlet that our refrigerator was plugged into went bad. So we lost like what? So our fridge went out over our vacation. We had to throw everything away in the fridge, like the entire
holy shit
contents of the fridge had to get thrown away, and everything was rotten.
Oh my God.
So, and it was literally the outlet, because like our landlord was like, it can't be the refrigerator because the bulb should still come on even if the compressor went bad. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll try a lamp in that outlet and see. And so the lamp didn't work in the top one, and so then Ash put it in the bottom one, and the lamp came on. So like we just moved the refrigerator plug down to that plug, and the fridge came right on. It's like it works just fine. Bless her heart. Like Ash cleaned that. Like I was like, babe, do you need help with that? She's like, yeah, I do. I was like, really? Because I don't think both of us are going to be able to fit in that refrigerator to clean it out. And she's like, then why'd you ask? So bless her heart, she took care of that. Yeah. So yeah, that was the trip. And then tonight I was like, I should have taken a nap is what I should have done. But I used the time to go see it.
Oh, there's a teaser for the next show.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to see it again before the next show. So.
Oh, outstanding.
Because I need. Oh man.
No. See, I almost thought I was reading things into what you said before we started, when you told me we weren't going to talk about it. I was like, oh my God, he seems kind of somber, but that seems kind of like you liked it. Anyhow, we'll save that for the next episode.
This was my celebratory scotch.
Oh, that's right. That's so fucking exciting. Woo. I've been I think I was telling you, but just for anyone, they don't care. I've not finished the book yet, listeners. As of when we're just talking. So I that's why I haven't seen it yet. But I hope to in the next. I mean, it's possible that I might not get to see it until next weekend, but I'm hoping to see it sometime like during the week or whatever. So that
that's cool.
Just as soon as possible, because I'm excited to. Just gotta finish the book first.
We wouldn't record. Are we going to record on the 27th? That'll be the next official episode, right?
I was looking at what is today? The 13th, which would give a weekend. Yeah, that'd work out. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
7th. Oh, that even works well with the schedule for the other thing that came up. So, yeah, that sounds great.
Awesome.
Well, that was Palmer's Disney Vacation. There's been 2 vacation episodes in short succession, and this one was coming hot in the heels of that very fun Disney discussion. Yeah, thanks for taking us through it.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for the ride. This has been Long Walk Short Drink Double Shot.
Double shot.
Thanks for listening, everyone. You got to hear our Disney adventure that was still an hour and a half long on top of the 4-hour long Disney episode. So thanks for that. You guys keep it real. You can find us at LWSDpod.com, at LWSDpod on Twitter, or Long Walk Short Drink on YouTube. Search all
I've
of
been
your
posting
favorite
some stuff. Keep an eye on that, like whether it's stuff we talk about on the show or even just like other things that are sort of Long Walk Short Drink centric that we can't finish. So if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, you're fucking up. Go there now.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus you get to see not this one, but most of the time we have live stream recordings where you get to see the full conversation that the episodes are pulled from. So all right, you guys take care. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Long walk, short drink. Long walk, short drink. You've taken that long walk, oh short drink. This was a long walk, fucking short drink.
You're next.